Well, hello everyone. It is Tuesday night, so it's time, I guess, for me to read another one of these adventure books from my library. So last couple of weeks, I read a Choose Your Own Adventure book. This week, thought I'd start to introduce a little bit of variety to what I'm reading. But these will all the books I'll be reading are all going to be like adventure type books where you have different puzzles to solve and maybe have to do some map reading. Well, I mean, I'll be doing it, but in these books, originally you'd have to do map reading sometimes. Sometimes you'd even have like a character sheet where it was very much like a role-playing game, and you'd keep track of different stats and equipment that you'd gain during the course of the book. And so they could get pretty complicated. I thought I'd just start out with kind of keeping things somewhat simple, but over time I'm going to try to tackle some of those more complicated books, and I might end up sort of like using some on-screen aids like from the book to like show maps and things like that, because it's kind of hard to see like maps and stuff for me to show those things from the book itself. But we'll see how it goes, and if there's like interest in that, if people would like to see that sort of thing, if they'd like to see like more complicated books, I can do that, or I can just stay with books that are fairly straightforward and simple. So this series, this is number one in a series that was around during the mid '80s, called Star Challenge. The title Star Challenge: How Do You Rate as a Space Ace? So this is number one. The title is Planets in Peril. It's written by Christopher Black. I think actually he wrote all of the titles in Star Challenge. I'm not totally sure of that, but I think it was. I think he was the writer for all. I think I didn't already say this, for all 10 books. It's kind of funny. I realized I got this book and realized it was originally a library book. It says like science fiction on the spine. And it has like actually still has, here it was a bookmobile from a library in bookmobile in Wisconsin, and then it even still has like the library book, the library card that's like stamped a few times, 2004, 2005, 2009. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, all right. So I was going to get started. So this is this series is very similar to Choose Your Own Adventure books. The only difference is that, like Choose Your Own Adventure books, there are, on each page there's usually two choices that you can make. I don't think there's any any page where there's more than two choices to be made. And then there's multiple endings to choose from. The big difference, besides the fact that all of the books in this series are all sci-fi, and you're always the same character and in the same setting, so that's a big difference. The other difference is that there's multiple endings, but each ending gives you a rating. Like every ending that you can get in this book is rated. So then you turn to a certain page at the end of the adventure, and it tells you, well, if you came from this page as your ending, then this is your rating for that ending. So that was like an interesting thing that it added. All right, so I'm gonna get started. So Planets in Peril, Christopher Black, illustrations by probably gonna mispronounce this, Maelo Cintron, or Maelo, Maelo. All right, and then I did really like the originally when I read this as a kid, I only actually had 2 books in this series, and this was not one of them, so I actually went on and got this one because I wanted to read some more of them. Anyways, so Planets in Peril, and let's get started. Red alert! You must not read this Star Challenge adventure in the ordinary human way. If you read the pages in order, the story will not compute. Instead, follow the directions on the bottom of each page. Everything will depend on the choices you make. Each choice can lead you to a different Star Challenge, trademark, adventure. To help you along the way, you have a task operational robot, Model 2. Call him Tutor. Get it? Tutor. He can do amazing things, from warping you through space faster than the speed of light, to talking with you through your mind. Each time you and Tutor complete a mission, warp to page 115 to find out how you rate as a space ace. To begin your adventure, go to page 1. Alright, and there's this dude here. Alright, welcome aboard. The year is 2525 AD, an age when mankind is moving out among the stars. You've just come aboard the space station Nebula, home of the peacekeeping and investigational branch of the Network of Worlds. From this man-made satellite, you, as a Nebula operative, will go out into the galaxy, taking care of trouble. The Nebula's teleportation system can send you anywhere in the galaxy instantly, or you can pilot your own shuttlecraft, the Challenger. If you need help at any time, feel free to send to the Nebula for reinforcements. Remember, the success or failure of your mission, not to mention your own survival, will depend on your choices. Successful Nebula operatives are people who can make quick, thoughtful decisions. Hurry! Captain Polaris needs you. Go to page 2, and I believe that is Captain Polaris, that illustration there. You don't really have to make quick decisions because you have plenty of time to decide stuff in this. Oh, you know what? And I forgot to actually check for comments on Facebook, and hopefully my laptop is cooperating, and that will happen fairly quickly. You know what? Yeah, the thing about this ship being called the Challenger, when I saw, I'd forgotten that that's what the ship was called, and man, yeah, this is, you know, obviously before anyone who you know, wasn't around then or doesn't remember it or didn't read about it. Because I actually at work, someone who was like, he's probably like in his early 20s. He was talking about the Challenger explosion because he, you know, saw a documentary about it. You know, so he wasn't around then, but he'd still heard about it. And yeah, so this was obviously before the Challenger disaster in 1985, I think it was, or was it 1986? And this book was published in 1984. So obviously, they wouldn't have called it the Challenger spaceship if it, you know, if that disaster had already happened. All right, page 2. You enter the nerve center of the nebula and go up to the floating command chair, expecting to see Captain Polaris, but the chair is empty. Come over here, the captain orders. He is standing by one of the thousands of vid screens in the room. On the screen is a large space station against a background of stars. Recognize it? Polaris asks. The Cosmos Industrial Station, you say. We have intelligence that Cosmos Station will be attacked by the battlecruiser Dark Star. Maybe you know of the cruiser's commander, Cypor Scarp, Polaris says. Ever since Scarp and his gang of galactic misfits emerged from the Thonex star cluster, they've destroyed 7 worlds. Why attack Cosmos, you ask? The station is developing a new person, the Graviton. You turn to Tutor. Information. Tutor's silvery voice recites, research files classified. Security level Q38 clearance. A click, then it goes on. Graviton increases planetary masses dramatically. Tests show a 98.3 chance that it will turn planets into black holes. Tough stuff, boss. A world-killing weapon, you gasp. Your job is to keep it out of Scarp's hands, Polaris says. Head for the teleportation room on page 3. You and Tutor rush to the teleportation room, where you get ready to beam out on priority clearance. Suddenly, a vid screen comes to life, and Captain Polaris's face appears. Our deep space communications net has picked up a message. Mindor 6, the nearest planet to Cosmos, has been overrun. We have no other information. Maybe it's Scarp, setting up an advanced base to attack Cosmos, you say. I wonder if we should check it out. And there's, I'm not sure who that is. Is that supposed to be Scarp, or is that's definitely not you. But, yeah, it's probably Scarp. Alright, so do we want to warp directly to Cosmos? If so, turn to page 78. If we'd rather take a shuttlecraft, the Challenger, Take the shuttlecraft, the Challenger, and head for Mindor 6. If so, turn to page 56. Huh. So yeah, so Tutor can warp us anywhere in the universe. Was it the universe? Okay. I mean, I suppose. So he can warp us there directly, or we could take the Challenger to Mindor 6. I think I'd rather go to Mindor 6 so we can. I think we're not going to be quite ready to go directly to Cosmos. You know? If we can stop them at Mindor 6. Plus, those people are being overrun and, like, we need to help them and all that stuff. So, kind of want to do that. You know? If we go directly to Cosmos, then we won't be able to help the people on Mindor 6, but. Not Star Wars. No, this is not Star Wars. This is not Star Wars. It's heavily influenced by Star Wars, though. So, Star Wars. Get a Choose Your Own Adventure Star Wars book. I was actually at a used. Valerie and I were at a used bookstore in Philadelphia a while back, and they had a whole section of children's sci-fi, and I found plenty of children's Star Wars books. I was actually looking for a Choose Your Own Adventure Star Wars book, and I didn't see one. Doesn't mean they don't exist, but when I was a kid, I did read a Choose Your Own Adventure Star Trek book, which I'll probably end up reading eventually. But I've actually never seen a Choose Your Own Adventure Star Wars book. But I don't know. I'll look into that, and I'll get back to you. That would be fun to have that. So, does anybody have any ideas whether we should take the shuttlecraft to Mindor 6 or go directly to Cosmos? I'm thinking of going to Mindor 6. So, unless anybody has any objections, I'm gonna just go ahead and do that. And I'm not going to call it it's going to say Challenger, so I'm going to have to say that. But all right, 56. A lot of pages here. Oh, here we go. Warping to Mindor 6 would be faster, but you want to use the Challenger for this mission. You've just had her fitted with a tachyonic booster, and here's your chance to see how she'll handle at near light speed. You and Tutor climb into your command seats, punch in the launch code, ignite the engines, and blast. Soon the nebula is far behind. The ship handles even better than you'd hoped. In 4 days, you're in parking orbit above Mindor 6. So Tutor is a floating robot, so it doesn't necessarily need to climb and do a seat, but okay. So turn to page 57, which is right here. Oh, and here's some illustrations on 56, and then illustration on page 57. Your high-resolution scans pick up signs of heavy fighting on the planet's surface. It must have been quite a battle, boss, Tutor whistles. I detect major damage. Where should we set down, you ask? 2 choices, replies Tutor. We can warp down to the old Capitol building. It's partly destroyed, but we may find some Mindor leaders there. They could tell us what happened. And the other choice? Far side of the planet. I pick up a huge amount of energy being generated. Something is definitely going on over there. If you head for the Capitol building, turn to page 113. If you head for the unusual power source, turn to page 103. I'd probably try to find the leaders first. They can tell me what's going on and give me some information. Like just going over to some part of the planet where there's a bunch of energy being generated. Sounds risky. What's your damage, Heather? Where does it say that? So, yeah, this is Tutor, so this is you. So this is you. You're this kid, you know, and then this Tutor, you can see, it's like basically like a bowling ball with like a little thing, like a little robot face at the top. So it just like floats, basically. All right. Unusual. Think we should do the unusual power source? We'll try that out. See what happens. Head for the unusual power source. Turn to page 103. 103. You're shuttled to the far side of Vendor 6. The power source Tutor detected isn't hard to spot. A thick beam of blazing light shoots heavenward. The source? A massive generator, a kilometer wide. What do you suppose that is, you wonder? It's a giant teleporter, Tutor clicks. Somebody is moving an awful lot of stuff. That's for sure. You fire retros and bring the Challenger down on a sandy plain. It's not far to the generator. As you step outside, you see a square-headed cyborg chasing a tall man in a white robe. The cyborg halts, aiming a blaster at the man. "Help me!" cries the man. "Stay away from him," shouts the cyborg. "He's a dangerous criminal." If you choose to let the cyborg fire at the man, turn to page 6. If, instead, you want to stun the cyborg with a blast from your mini-pulsar, turn to page 38. Oh, Heather's right. I forgot that line. I should see that movie again. All right. So we can either let the cyborg fire at the man, or we can fire at the cyborg to try to help the man. I mean, I have no idea whose side we're supposed to be on in this situation. Like, is that guy in the white robe a dangerous criminal? I mean, maybe. Yeah, no, we shouldn't. I don't think it's the book's trying. I'm pretty sure the book's not trying to like teach kids to, you know, it's not trying to teach kids to let just like people kill each other. So, and we're not killing the cyborg. I mean, well, yeah, it is cyborg, so it would be half organic. So we could, destroying it would be killing it. So we're just stunning it in that case. Yeah, so I guess we'll do page 38. We'll intervene. Before the cyborg can get off a shot, you fire a short pulse. It drops him to the hot sands of Mendor. "Thank you," says the robed man. "I am Calix Dune. Horrible things are happening here on Mendor. You must help us." Calix goes on. "The planet has been overrun by the infamous Slee from Zard, scaly-faced son of a sunworm. Slee has enslaved his planet. Now he's trying ours. Slee forces our citizens to mine the rich deposits of chromium." Tutor breaks in. "A rare metal necessary in making battlesuits. We've had reports that Slee is building such computer-driven space armor. He wants to outfit his whole cyborg army with them." Slee has been beaming the chromium back to Zard, his home planet. "He's assembling the suits and his army there," Calix Dune continues. "We've got to destroy that teleporter," you say. "How can we do it?" Go to page 39. Calix leads you over to the windowless, one-story teleporter complex. "The dome over there is the command center," says Calix. "You should find Slee just inside." "And where are the teleporter controls?" you ask. "They're in the main building itself," he says. "But be careful. Those controls are heavily guarded." Sunworm. Yeah, I believe that's supposed to be like what they use as an insult there. Scaly-faced son of a you son of a son. Yeah, slum word. You son you son of a sunworm. That's harsh words. Sunworm. Okay. I'm not sure if scaly-faced. I guess that scaly-faced is also an insult too. All right. So in his image of you, his Tutor on the left, and then Calix in the middle, and you're on the right. Your character. All right. So do we want to go after Slee? If so, turn to page 94. Would we rather knock out the teleporter? If so, turn to page 43. So, oh, okay. So the teleporter, they're using that to beam the Chronium back to Zard, and then I guess they'll use the Chronium to build suits and armies so they can enslave the universe, which that sounds really bad. So that's bad, but Slee, they are also quite bad, so we have the option of going directly after Slee, or we can destroy the teleporter. Alright, sounds like we're destroying the teleporter then. Page 43. You walk over to the main building. Let's go for the teleporter control center, you say. You try the door, but it won't slide open. We could knock on the panel and pretend to be some of Slee's cyborgs, suggests Calyx. That will get us inside. Then we can take them by surprise. Why not blast our way in, you say? I admit it may be crude, but it might be effective. If you decide to blow away the panel with your micropulsar, turn to page 8. If instead you elect to talk your way in, turn to page 28. How are we supposed to impersonate cyborgs? Like, your character definitely does not look like a cyborg, and this guy. So we're going to pretend to be cyborgs. I don't know, this is like the 80s, so, I mean, they probably had music videos where people that looked like these characters were pretending to be cyborgs or something, so I guess 80s logic, from the viewpoint of 80s logic, it's not that far-fetched for them to pretend to be cyborgs. Let's do it. See, oh yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this plan. Okay, page 28. You knock on the panel. Before long, one of the square-headed cyborgs opens it up. Slee sent us, you say in your most official-sounding voice. We're here to inspect the teleporter. Slee from Zard, says the cyborg. That's right, Crater Brain. Slee from Zard, you say. Out of our way. You enter the room. Then you realize that you are the dummy. Inside sits a scaly, green-faced creature. Slee from Zard. Seize them, master! Calyx Dune cries. They're Nebula spies! Oh no, says Tutor. His red lights are going full blast. Two cyborgs seize you by the arms. Throw those two in with the Chronium, says Slee. We'll warp them to Zard. They'll help us build the battle suits. Turn to page 102. Okay, it's going pretty good. I had my suspicions about that Calyx guy. I was like, I guess we should have just let that guy kill him. No, we couldn't do that. That's just wrong. What is it, page 102? Alright. The cyborgs open the door and toss you through. You and Tutor land in a room full of green powder. Tor, you say, can you beam us out of here? I could try, boss. It might be dangerous. Lights flash as Tutor uses his sensors. Slee's teleporter is already online. If I activate my warper, there's no telling where we'll be dumped out. If you choose to ride the teleporter beam to Zard, turn to page 70. If you elect to risk using your own warper, turn to page 46. Yeah, I'm thinking we might want to just get the teleporter beam to Zard. If we try to warp ourselves, we could warp into the heart of a sun, or warp inside solid rock. Inside solid rock, or something like that. Yeah, you just warp anywhere. You could wind up anywhere. So, but then if we take the teleporter beam to Zard, will we be able to get back out? I do not know. Well, I don't know if anybody has any ideas. Alright. I guess I'll take the teleporter beam to Zard. I'll use the on warper, page 46. Well, alright, let's see what happens. Slee's teleporter begins to break you into atoms, but Tutor programs in a new code. We'll get a free ride from Slee, Tutor beeps worriedly. I just hope we end up back at the nebula. Next thing you know, you've been reassembled on an icy plain. 2 red suns beam down on you. This isn't the nebula, Short Circuit, you say, and it isn't Zard either. But Tutor isn't there. All you see is a tall, black and white crystal tower on the horizon. Right then, a pink SOS flare flies from its top. It's Tutor, you say, and in trouble. And there's you, and then the 2 suns, and then the tower in the distance. So we'll go to page 111. Nope. 111. You set off for the tower at once. Tutor needs rescuing. But before you're halfway there, you meet a strange barrier. It's a vast expanse of polished marbleite that looks like a giant old-time checkerboard. Some squares are decorated with horizontal white stripes. Others are made of vertical black stripes. At the edge of the huge board stands a green panel. When you press your hand against it, a message is channeled right into your brain. Warning, alien. You have come to a void field. Only half the squares are solid. Stepping on the wrong design will drop you into the void. Choose your pattern carefully. If you try your luck on the squares with horizontal stripes, turn to page 66. If you think the squares with vertical stripes are the safe ones, turn to page 98. So the horizontal, those are horizontal white stripes. Then white stripes, it's not the White Stripes, the band, but just white stripes. And then the vertical stripes are the black stripes. So, I'm thinking half the squares are solid. So I think we're supposed to assume that the void stripes would be black and the non-void stripes would be white. So I'm going to say that the horizontal stripes, which are white, are actually, those are the void ones, because we're supposed to think that it's the black stripes that are the dangerous ones. But the black stripes are probably not the dangerous ones. So I'm going to do the vertical stripes. And just assuming that they're thinking that we're going to do the white ones and not the black ones. So that's my thinking there. I was like, no, I got you. You think you're trying to fool me? I'm going to fool you. All right, here we go. You step gingerly onto a vertically striped square. It's solid. Quickly you hop across the checkerboard to the other side. After an hour, you reach the base of the strange tower. The whole building is composed of rough black crystal. As you examine the walls, you hear a shout. You look up to see a faceless, hooded figure lowering a force rope from a high window. "Grab hold," calls the faceless figure. Another window pops into existence in the wall before you. A wrinkled, earless man beckons you in. "Don't take the rope," he says. "It's a trap. With me, you'll be safe." You wish you had some time to decide what to do, but a tremendous snowstorm howls up out of nowhere. If you don't get inside quickly, you'll freeze. If you climb the force rope, turn to page 42. If you believe the earless man, turn to page 93. Huh. I mean, I bet we're supposed to think that the faceless, hooded figure is scary and that we can't trust them. And that we can trust that other dude, that we can trust a wrinkled, earless man. The last time we trusted someone that seemed nice, they turned out to be working for the bad guy. So I'm gonna do the rope. Doing it. All right, here we go. Page 42. Climb onto the force rope. Use the force rope. 42. You grasp the force rope and yell, "Haul away!" The hooded stranger gives a jerk. Moments later, you arrive at a low-ceilinged room high in the tower. A dozen fanged, snout-nosed creatures sit against the back wall. Each one of them is smiling. Tutor is nowhere to be seen. You get a creepy feeling that something is about to go terribly wrong. Turn to page 52. "Now, class," says the hooded figure, "I told you finding specimens for our medical experiments would be easy. Just throw a rope out the window and haul them in." "Like sea shrikes," one student giggles. You step away from the man with the rope. He obviously doesn't have your best interests at heart. Right now, you need a way to escape, but there are no doors. Even the window you came in through has vanished. The students rise. "Looks like you'll make medical history on this planet, whether you like it or not." All right, so, and there's that dude. So page 52, I don't even think we get a rating because we got killed. So, all right. No turning to page 115 for our... let's see, we're going to go back to something. All right, so we'll try this again. That didn't go so well. All right, so we're back on page 3 again. Do we want to warp directly to Cosmos? If so, turn to page 78. Would you rather take your shuttlecraft, the Challenger, and head for Mindor 6? If so, turn to page 56. Well, last time we went to Mindor 6, so this time we'll warp to Cosmos. Page 78. Let's make totally different choices and see if get a better outcome. You and Tutor materialize in a bright corridor of Cosmos Station. Plastic-coated ports and hatches lead off in all directions. You hurry down the deserted corridor. Finally, you find a hatch marked Graviton, top secret. "I'm here, Tutor," you say, as you reach to open the hatch. Suddenly, a scream comes from behind the shining titanium hatch down the corridor. If you choose to enter the Graviton room, turn to page 47. If you head for the source of the scream, turn to page 30. So should we just go into the Graviton room or head for the source of the scream? I think we should head for the source of the scream. It sounds like someone needs help. The idea of just, going into a Graviton room. Yeah, head for the source. Page 30. All right. Send a message to the nebula. "Someone is in big trouble," you shout at Tutor. You both dash for the silver hatch. "I hope we're in time to save the day," Tutor's red lights flash. Inside, you can't believe your eyes. An 8-foot creature with bristling neon hair struggles with a terrified human in a white lab coat. The creature's toothy jaw juts out as it strangles the man. They're both bent over a portable teleporter device. "Stop him! Stop him!" screams the man. "We can't let him get control of the teleporter. He'll beam the rest of Scarp's men onto the station." Go to page 58. You freeze, astonished, as the creature turns its attention to you. It roars and grabs a chair of hardened quasidium. Suddenly, you hear sounds of fighting. They come from the corridor you just left. "The Graviton!" someone yells. "They've got the Graviton!" The neon creature raises the chair. It's aiming for your head. You must act now, and quickly. You must act now and act quickly. If you decide to rush into the corridor, turn to page 87. If, instead, you try to defeat the creature, turn to page 60. So we can either rush into the corridor to the Graviton, or we can try to defeat that creature that... Yeah, I think I think rush into the corridor. I don't think we could fight that giant creature. Our mission is to protect the graviton, you tell Tutor. Let's get out of here. Your mission may be the graviton, but the creature's mission is to beam you with the chair. Before you reach the exit, you're down. The last thing you recall is Tutor beeping frantically. The neon creature laughs hideously as blackness drops over you like a heavy curtain. You come to and find a face looking down at you, Captain Polaris's face. You're lucky Tutor managed to get a distress call out. I sent attack teams immediately. Polaris smiles. We caught the Dark Star with only half her crew aboard. The rest were looting the space station. They surrendered without a fight. So we saved the graviton and caught Cypor Scar. Now Polaris frowns. Of course, we did all of this while you were asleep. Yeah, it's not that great either. But at least we didn't get killed this time. We're alive. So you have completed your mission. Report to the nebula on page 115 to find out how you rate as a space ace. Sorry, so go to 115. So if you survive, this is how this always works with this series. You go to your page. If I can get to it. All right, 115. You made it. You made it, boss. Remember the page number you came from and check the scores on the next page. All right, so we came from page 87. So go through here. 7. Whoo. If you warped in from page 87, you get 198 points. So just keep in mind that the best rating we could possibly get would give us 9,800,396 points, right? And we got 198 points. So yeah, not that many points. And so it's telling us to go back to the Space Academy. To try another adventure in Planets in Peril, go to page 3. Or, to take on a completely new challenge, go to Star Challenge 2, the Android Invasion. Or I don't have the Android Invasion, so we're going to go back to page 3. See if we can get more points than that. If I can get to page 3. There we go. Alright. Do you wish to warp directly to Cosmos? If so, turn to page 78. Would you rather take your shuttlecraft, the Challenger, and head for Mindor 6? If so, turn to page 56. Maybe we can get a better ending this time. So, should I go back to doing going to Mindor 6 again? Since I did Cosmos last time. Yeah, maybe I'll do Mindor 6. 56. Warping to Mindor 6 would be faster, but you want to use the Challenger for this mission. You've just had her fitted with a tachyonic booster, and here's your chance to see how she'll handle at near light speed. You and Tutor climb into your command seats, punch in the launch code, ignite the engines, and blast. Soon the nebula is far behind. The ship handles even better than you'd hoped. In 4 days, you're in parking orbit over Mindor 6. Go to page 57. Your high-resolution scans pick up signs of heavy fighting on the planet's surface. It must have been quite a battle, boss, Tutor whistles. I detect major damage. Where shall we set down, you ask? 2 choices, replies Tutor. We can warp down to the old Capitol building. It's partly destroyed, but we may find some Mindor leaders there. They could tell us what happened. And the other choice? Far side of the planet. I pick up a huge amount of energy being generated. Something is definitely going on over there. So we can go to the Capitol building, 113, or we can go to, we can head for the unusual power source on page 103. So last time we went to the Capitol building and went through that adventure. We didn't try the power source, so this time I'm going to check out the power source. Maybe we'll get a better outcome there. Alright. You shuttle to the far side of Mindor 6. The power source Tutor detected isn't hard to spot. A thick beam of blazing light shoots heavenward. The source, a massive generator, a kilometer wide. What do you suppose that is, you wonder? It's a giant teleporter, Tutor clicks. Somebody is moving an awful lot of stuff, that's for sure. You fire retros and bring the Challenger down on a sandy plain. Oh, you know what? I did make this choice. That's weird. Alright, well. So your choice last time was to check out the power source? I think that's what we did last time. Yeah, we checked out the power source. Oh well, I'll just keep up. I'll stay with this choice. Alright, it's a giant teleporter, Tutor clicks. Somebody is moving an awful lot of stuff, that's for sure. You fire retros and bring the Challenger down on a sandy plain. It's not far to the generator. As you step outside, you see a square-headed cyborg chasing a tall man in a white robe. The cyborg halts, aiming a blaster at the man. "Help me!" cries the man. "Stay away from him," shouts the cyborg. "He's a dangerous criminal." If you choose to let the cyborg fire at the man, turn to page 6. If instead you want to stun the cyborg with a blast from your mini-pulsar, turn to page 38. Alright, well, last time we stunned the cyborg, helped the man, and then it turned out that the man was actually helping the bad guy. So yeah, this time I'm just gonna let him shoot the man. Doesn't seem right, but you know. Last time we thought we were doing the right thing. Ooh. Alright. Is the man really a criminal? Undecided, you watch as the cyborg knocks the man cold with a single burst from his blaster. "It's good you didn't interfere," says the cyborg. "I might have had to shoot you, too." "We wouldn't have liked that," says Tutor. "Nor would my boss," says the cyborg. He pointed the blaster at you. "You two will make fine workers in the chromium pits of Mindor. From now on, you're the slaves of Slee from Zard." "Slaves, you say?" "Chromium pits," says Tutor. "Move," says the cyborg. Zap. Alright, well. That was even worse. That was even worse than the helping the man and zapping the cyborg. Alright. Let's see. Alright, so do we want to go directly to Cosmos, or do we want to take the Challenger to Mindor 6? Alright, this time we'll go back to going to Cosmos. 78. You and Tutor materialize in a bright corridor of Cosmos Station. Plastic-coated ports and hatches lead off in all directions. You hurry down the deserted corridor. Finally, you find a hatch marked Graviton, top secret. "In here, Tutor," you say, as you reach to open the hatch. Suddenly, a scream comes from behind the shining titanium hatch down the corridor. If you choose to enter the Graviton room, go to page 47. If you head for the source of the scream, turn to page 30. Alright, well, last time we went for the source of the scream, and that didn't turn out very well. So this time, our mission is to go to the Graviton room, that's what we're supposed to be doing here. So stay focused on the mission, and we'll go to page 47. You open the door. A hairless creature with limp ears rushes away from you. It seems to be heading for some round hatches in the far wall of the room. Then you see the glowing metal pyramid it carries. A formula engraved in the metal tells you that this is the Graviton. "Hold it," you shout. Your micropulsar comes up, set for stun. Turn to page 80. And here's the creature holding the Graviton. Page 80. The creature whirls, ears flapping. You can't risk letting it take the Graviton out of your sight. Aiming carefully, you let loose an energy pulse. It knocks the creature senseless. You go to the alien's side. It's trying to speak. You're a Nebula operative," it gasps. "I'm the head of the development team here. We must take the Graviton to safety." Go to page 7. Whoops, I guess we shouldn't have shot him. My bad. "You must take the Graviton," the alien mumbles. "Just be careful to take the right hatch. The wrong hatch will lead to..." You shake the alien, but it's unconscious. You look at the two round hatches set in the wall. One is marked with the symbols meaning exit in galactic interlanguage. The other hatch carries a strange symbol. You look at Tutor. He rotates his head. No answer. One is marked exit. The other carries a strange symbol. If you choose to escape through the hatch marked exit, go to page 95. If, however, you wish to go through the strangely marked door, turn to page 35. So we're on a spaceship, right? A space station. So exit, I think that would actually exit. We'd exit out into space. I think that's what he's trying to tell us. The wrong hatch will lead to like the vacuum of space. So if that's where that leads to, then obviously we don't want to take the exit. But a strangely marked door, that also seems kind of suspect. Any ideas? I'm thinking of doing the strangely marked door. That's what I'm leaning towards. Yeah, strange. You pull open the mysterious hatch. Instantly, you're sucked out in a huge whoosh. You're hurtled down a tunnel of pulsing green and yellow light. Great galaxy, you exclaim. A wormhole. I'm being pulled into another universe. You must have stumbled onto a cosmos experiment on dimensional transference. Your head throbs. You feel as though you're being turned inside out. Then the wormhole dissolves. You're in another universe where everything is reversed. Stars are black. The sky is bright white. You look around and you have no way home. Loneliness grips your heart. Then the green and yellow wormhole pulses into being again. A figure appears. It's Tutor. Grab on, boss, he says. Only one chance to catch a return ride. One hand holds the graviton. Your other hand grabs Tutor's claw. Together, you rocket into the pulsing light. When your pounding head clears, you're back on Cosmos. Warp to the nebula, you command. As soon as Polaris hears your report, he sends attack squads to Cosmos Station. The Raiders will get a big surprise, boss, Tutor's yellow lights flash. And we saved Graviton. And we saved the Graviton. You have completed your mission. Return to the nebula on page 115 to find out how you rate as a space ace. That's our best ending yet. All right, page 35. We're going to page 115. All right, we made it, boss. Remember the page number you came from and check the scores on the next page. Already forgot. 35. All right, so we didn't. Not a space ace. I'm not going to get to become Captain Polaris, the second in command. I'm also. I didn't get the not bad option either. Page 35, 8,243 points. You're assigned to asteroid patrol until further notice. Alright, that's also not that great. That's not good. No. Alright, you know what? I'm just going to pretend. We are going to pretend here that, yeah, we found that dude. I shot him. Page 80. And then we went to page 7. Alright. So this time, okay, so let's just pretend we did not take the... Let's pretend we didn't go into the strangely marked door. Obviously that was a mistake. So we will choose to escape through the hatch marked exit. And we'll go to page 95. Okay. Exit has always meant out before. There's no reason it shouldn't mean that now. You load the graviton into the hatch opening. Making an adjustment to your biosupport suit, you slide in ahead of Tutor. The robot slams the hatch shut. Suddenly, you shoot into space. Oh, okay. I forgot we had a biosuit. I thought if we went into space, we would just like suffocate. But okay, we got a biosuit. We're good. The robot slams the hatch shut. Suddenly, you shoot into space. Before you is a massive spike-encrusted ball, bearing the image of an eclipsed sun. You fire your thrusters to avoid smashing into the huge ship. Then you realize the spiked ball is the dreaded Dark Star. This is the battlecruiser commanded by Saipor Scarp. I detect an open airlock at the tip of the nearest spike, Tutor says. We may be able to board and disable the Dark Star. If you wish to sneak aboard the Dark Star, turn to page 15. If you want to use the graviton to turn the Dark Star into a black hole, turn to page 101. Let's see, and while we are deciding what to do there, I'm just going to drink some water. All right. So, we can either sneak aboard the Dark Star, or we can use the graviton to turn the Dark Star into a black hole. If we try to create a black hole on the Dark Star, I feel like we'll end up getting trapped in the black hole too, which would be bad. We don't want to do that. So I'd rather try to sneak aboard the Dark Star, but don't know if anybody else has any other ideas. Although the drawback to going to trying to sneak aboard the Dark Star is I have to turn more pages. Whereas if I just do the black hole, it's only 6 pages that I have to turn. That's not really a good reason to do the black hole, but all right. I guess I'm going to sneak aboard the Dark Star. All right. You float silently through the airlock. Ahead is a hatch, which you open. You step into a room with a high silver dome. It's bare except for a single control bank in the center of the room. You turn to Tutor. We got in slick as a vegan prat beast, you whisper. Oh, whisper. Sorry. We got in slick as a vegan prat beast, you whisper. Then you hear a booming voice. Kneel down, nebula slime. Prepare to meet the great and mighty Cypor Scarp. I don't think... Are they talking to us? Go to page 18. A panel at the rear of the room slides open. Cypor Scarp walks in. He's hardly the frightening creature you were expecting. In fact, he's only 3 feet tall. The only upsetting thing about him is his head. It's egg-shaped, and half of it is nothing but scar tissue. Somewhere in his career, he met an unfriendly laser beam. I'll take the graviton now, he says. Bring it to me. You grip the gravitons tightly. Suddenly, you're taught that size isn't everything. A beam of purple light, nearly ultraviolet, flashes from Scarp's eye. The light somehow snatches the graviton right into Scarp's arms. Nice trick, eh? Scarp removes the patch from his other eyes. Now feel the wrath of my eyes, Displacer. You remember the nearby control bank. If you decide to dive behind the controls, turn to page 61. If instead you want to team up with Tutor and jump Scarp, turn to page 71. I kind of like the idea of teaming up with Tutor. Not sure how well it would go, but the idea of us both teaming up and using some teamwork and all that, I just kind of like that whole visual. Don't know how well it's going to turn out, but so I'm not sure if I want to do that. Or we could try to dive behind the controls, but I feel like they'll just attack us anyways. I don't know if anybody has any ideas. Alright, I guess I will try to jump Scarp. I was going to do it. Alright. You and Tutor race to the opposite sides of the mighty Scarp. Since he only has one eye, he can't get both of you. Worse for him, he came into the room with no guards. Scarp turns and stuns Tutor. Before he can wheel around and blast you, you attack. You're a star at 0G unarmed combat. One chop to the side of his head, and Scarp sprawls on the floor. You waste no time patching Tutor's circuits. Let's warp for home, you say. We've saved the graviton, and we have one of the most wanted outlaws in the galaxy as well. You have completed your mission. Return to the nebula on page 115 to find out how you rate as a space ace. Alright, I feel like we're going to get some more points this time. Alright, 115. We made it, boss. Remember the page number you came from and check the scores on the next page. Alright. So let's see. Oh, woohoo! Alright, so we got ending 71. If you warped in from page 71, you get 6,250,106 points. Congratulations, you're a space ace. So that's like, that ending is the second best ending we can get in this book. If we came from page 13, we'd get the most points. But yeah, page 71, that is actually really good. So yeah, it took us a while. Took me almost an hour of reading through this book, but finally got the second best ending. So yeah, that was a lot of fun doing this. There's obviously a lot of stuff that we didn't do, pages that I didn't go to, like we didn't meet that person. Let's see, didn't meet that person. Didn't meet those things. So yeah, no, but yeah, no, this is fun. I really like this series. Reading it as a kid, I liked the idea that there were like different endings, and they all had like you could actually see like how you would really know like how good the ending was or how well you actually did. There was like an objective way of knowing how well you did. So yeah, so it was good. This is the first book in the series. Like I said before, I'm not sure what I'm going to read next week. Maybe it'll be another Choose Your Own Adventure, but I will read another one of these at some point. And other books as well. So I'm not sure how complicated I want the books to get. I'll see. I mean, I did have plans just to like go back and read a lot of those even more complicated adventure books. So I may do that, and just like, you know, if it doesn't seem like it's going to work out with like using pictures on the screen and things like that, I might just like do it directly from the book, like I've been doing it even with more complicated books. But yeah, so I guess I'll stop here. I hope anyone who didn't have a chance to see this stream now, you know, if you're watching it later, hope you enjoy it. And I'll be back next Tuesday night to read another. So, okay, well, take care, everybody.